United versus West Ham, the return of David Moyes. I'm talking about Ronaldo, Mason Greenwood, Elanga, Declan Rice, Mark Noble. Check out a preview. Jay Hibbs, Stretford, Paddock. This is the West Ham preview. David Moyes bringing his clarets to Old Trafford, eh? With me is Joe Smith. How are we doing?
Oh, good. How are you?
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm not too bad.
Yeah?
Bit warm, but I like it.
When's
warm.
the last time you took your clarets to Old Trafford?
That's none of your business.
You've had a cream for them, haven't you?
Yes, and they are clearing up. It's an important game, as they all are, but it's even more important because West Ham this season have kind of, say, got their act together, but are doing very well. Yeah. Right up near the top, actually above us in the table.
Yeah, the fourth.
Yeah, so, we're playing catch up with them. One player who is nailed on to start and has been a topical person as usual of late is Mr. Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, unless you've been, living in a cave somewhere, you might have noticed that he had a little bit of a kick-off, didn't he, when he got subbed. A spat against Brentford. Quickly, Joe, what did you make of all that? I know we discussed it on the watch-along, but what did you make of the spat, and do you think it's going to cause any long-term issues between him and Ralph Rangnick?
Yeah, I don't think it'll cause long-term issues. My only worry with it is that it'll be used as ammunition next time. So, we won the game against Brentford, so it allowed, we can sort of brush over it a little bit. We don't need to worry about it too much. Oh, it's just part of this, it's part of that. Obviously, it's going to be... But the thing is, next time if we lose and he kicks off again, it gets added to a list, doesn't it? Where we've seen before Ronaldo's not happy. He clearly doesn't like Rangnick. It can be used as ammunition for basically whoever wants to use it now. They've got it in the locker to have a go at United, to have a go at Rangnick, to have a go at Ronaldo. So I don't really love seeing it personally, but I don't think it's this big issue that should, change things or uproot the season or, make Rangnick put his head on the block or anything like that. But I do think I would prefer if Ronaldo could keep his emotions in check. If you're that pissed off, just walk straight down the tunnel and boot something on the way. Do you know what I mean? Like when you're outside of the cameras, like it's not a big problem, but I'd prefer if he didn't do it.
Yeah, I think that's it. I agree with that. I mean, when I saw it at the time, we obviously were watching the game, and I was a bit like, I almost laughed at it. I thought it was, quite comical, but it's sort of a headache that Ralph Rangnick can do without, especially on the back of Ronaldo's interview where he's spoken about being a bit of an example and maybe the younger players taking his advice and stuff. So you got to put that into practice, haven't you? A quick word from today's sponsors, Profit Accumulator.
Oh, yeah.
Profit Accumulator is a way that enables you to try and make money out of what's called matched betting.
Interesting, very interesting. The gambling industry, Jay, and you might know this, but not everyone knows this. It's fierce. Yeah, and bookmakers compete against each other by making crazier and crazier sign-up offers in order to get your business. So they'll go, come over here, you get this free bet. Come over here, you can put 20 quid on this. This. What they do, Jay, tell them what people do. Tell them what Profit Accumulator does.
Profit Accumulator's dedicated team, because they are dedicated. They look at all these offers and they present them to you. So you're able to use the offers against one another to make a profit.
You know what I mean?
Time and time again.
It makes so much sense.
Money, give yourself an opportunity to make some cash money.
They've had over 150,000 customers to date, so definitely go and check them out. You can earn up to 45 quid using their 100% free trial with no credit card details required. That's good, isn't it?
That's always a bonus.
Can't be better, really. So it's a no-brainer and definitely worth checking out if you're looking to try and make that a little bit extra.
This offer is available to anyone who's over the age of 18. Make sure you are gamble aware. One of the younger players who has been shining of late is Anthony Elanga. Had a very good pre-season, didn't he? Before I think he got picked up a bit of a knock in pre-season, but before that he was playing very well. He's been brought into the team basically because of what he was doing in training, I think. But he's certainly taking his chances, hasn't he?
Yeah, he looks really good, and he seems to kind of typify that Rangnick ideology of work really hard, try hard, you'll get minutes. And he said it like you said. I worked hard in training, and I've got to thank the manager and all this stuff for playing me based on my performances in training. And then you see it on the pitch. I think he doesn't quite have the talent of Mason Greenwood maybe going forward. He doesn't quite have the talent of Marcus Rashford, but in recent weeks, he's worked harder than they have. And I think, anyone can see that. He's there going forward, but crucially, he's there at the back as well. He's helping out Tellez. He's, back there defending against the winger with a bit more eagerness than some other people in the squad. And that's not meant to be a big dig at anyone. But I think he comes in and gives you what you expect from a young player, which is endless work rate, endless sort of optimism and energy. And luckily, well, not luckily, because he deserved it, but he got his goal the other night as well, which I think is a good way to cap off what has been some very good performances from him. Especially as well, you got to think he's coming in because Rashford is incapable of playing at the moment because his form's so poor. So not only is he, he's sort of drafted in, but he's also kind of covering for a big player at Manchester United. Rashford is a big hole to fill, even if he's not playing very well. So could easily have been a lot of pressure for him. He doesn't seem to have, sort of waned or wilted in that pressure. He looks very good. So I'm happy for him, and long may it continue, because that's the sort of energy and work rate that should be rewarded, and it is. And then he's rewarding the manager back with great performances. So I'm really happy for him.
Definitely. You see it with sometimes young players. They come in and they have that sort of, just that enthusiasm.
That's what I mean.
That devil-may-care attitude. We've seen it with all our youngsters, really.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Marcus when he came in.
I was going to say, he's a great example.
Couldn't stop scoring, just, absolutely terrorising defences. You look at Mason Greenwood, the same. Martial, I know we bought him, slightly different, but the same again when he first came into the team. And we're seeing that with
someone like Januzaj. Those first 10 games, you thought, bloody, what's good? He'll do everything. He'll do whatever you ask him to all the time, and it's great to see.
Hopefully, Anthony Lang will have a better Manchester United career than Adnan Januzaj.
But you know what I mean, though? That initial
I get it. I mean,
surge when you come into the team.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've just got to, like you say, keep it going and long may it continue. He's certainly got the talents, hasn't he? And hopefully we just don't, burn him out or whatever. I think he's more than capable of playing most games as it is now. We've just got to handle him rightly.
I think a good thing with him as well, we saw it in pre-season, some of those finishes, he's got a finish on him.
Yeah.
Like that one where he's basically, it's like a one-legged sort of 180 volley. Do you remember from pre-season? Where he's like spinning round and puts it in the near post. Obviously, just finishing ability isn't, the be-all and end-all. But that's the sort of thing that a young winger, to have that in your locker, where you actually are competent in front of goal. You're not someone you're quite quick, you got a bit of a trick, but that's it. He's quite quick. He's got a bit of a trick. His work rate's there, and he's actually better in front of goal than a lot of players for his age and experience. So I think that's an extra thing that might just keep him in this team a little bit longer than someone like Januzaj, who kind of struggled for that, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, Dave Pritz always talked about it longer. He said he's got like this. His trademark is to cut in and bang it in top bins. That's what he used to do a lot for the academy. And I'd love to see him do that for the first team, to be honest with you.
Cool.
With all that in mind, give us your predicted. This is the team you think are going to start. Your predicted 11 for the West Ham game.
Yeah, a slight rotation on the other night, but a lot of similar faces as you'll see there. I think that back five is seemingly Rangnick's first choice back five, and we'll mention maybe Maguire. Once we have a look at your team as well. But there's the back five: De Gea, Dalot, Varane, Lindelof, Telle, same as last time. I think that's what he likes. He doesn't seem keen on Wan-Bissaka. Luke Shaw, how could you be keen on him after what you've seen this season? Same for Maguire. So I think that back five picks itself almost at this point. In midfield, I've made a slight change. I've taken Fred out because I just think he's too inconsistent. And I think Matic has probably had a bit of a rest. I know he came on as a sub, but 25 minutes here and there, he should be able to start this game. And sometimes you need that aerial ability as well that Matic and McTominay provide. And I think with the three in there, you get more balance. You get more of the attacking side of McTominay, which is what he's good at. You saw him driving in the second half, past men. You saw it for that third goal, where I thought he was brilliant in the second half, McTominay. And Bruno, we're seeing the best of him again. 2 goals in the game before last, 2 assists in the last game. These are the numbers we've come to sort of expect from Bruno Fernandes. I think those two have to be in there, but Fred for me is the one that can be improved upon. So I've put Matic in there. Sancho back from his game off for personal reasons. I think we all know what that was about, but I think if he's fit, he should play. Greenwood's been decent. I'm glad he got the goal, but I think overall Sancho probably just about deserves the game. Not based on Greenwood being poor, but I just think if we want to get Sancho into this team, he needs to start playing more. And Elanga has to keep his place. Ronaldo the same. He brought him off after 70 minutes. He's not going to not start him, is he? So, yeah, there's the team.
Makes a lot of sense to me. Mine's slightly different. If you just go to mine, I think Fred will play. I just think Ralph Rangnick likes him. I think he fancies him a little bit. I understand where you're coming from, but I just feel like it will. The only sort of thing I wasn't certain on is who is going to play in that holding role. Is it going to be McTominay? You mentioned about him driving forward. Both him and Fred. I mean, all three of those players. I think Rangnick said that Bruno he thinks is a bit of an 8. So he basically got 3 8s there rather than any 6s, which is a bit of an issue we've got at Manchester United. So I can understand why you brought in Nemanja Matic, who is more of an actual 6.
Unchanged team, yours, from the other night.
Yeah, I just feel like, I mean, I know it's a bit of a cliche, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I know the first half wasn't great, but the second half especially, I think Mason Greenwood keeps his place. Yes, Jadon Sancho does need game time. I just feel like Mason got his first goal in a little while in the Premier League as well. Let him build on that. Yeah. Let him just keep going. Obviously, Elanga we've spoken about, and the back five. I mean, that probably is his preferred one. And it sounds crazy because you've got Harry Maguire who's 80 million, you've got Wan-Bissaka who's 50 million, but Ralph Rangnick doesn't owe these.
30.
Shaw's 30 million. But Ralph Rangnick doesn't owe these players anything. He didn't buy any of them. He didn't recommend any of them. He didn't scout them. He inherited them. So he's going to pick the best team that he can muster or that he thinks is the right one for the job. I think Delo got man of the match, didn't he, the other night? I know we didn't all agree on that, but he got it.
Yeah.
I quite like Alex Telles. I think we have suffered a little bit of I don't want to use the word mediocrity because I think that's harsh, but sometimes in our fullback position, I said this on the last preview, we haven't had anyone who's been outstanding consistently.
No.
But I think Telles and Delo have been as consistent or more consistent than anyone else, so I'm quite happy for them to keep the place. I just think there's a couple of questions there. How is he going to go in midfield? And like you said, is he going to bring Jadon Sancho back in, who was unavailable for personal reasons the other day? I wouldn't mind if he did. If Jadon Sancho starts, even Jason Sanchez, if he starts, I don't think anyone's going to be complaining. But for me, Mason Greenwood just shades it.
Yeah.
West Ham. We mentioned them earlier.
Doing well,
aren't they? Bastard. Still got that little bit of inconsistency, though, haven't they? There's always capable, like any David Moyes team, they're always capable of losing a match. A big sort of a player who'll be getting a lot of attention will be Declan Rice because he's been linked with Manchester United. He is there.
Everyone.
Yeah, he is their star in it.
Yeah,
basically.
I think he's probably their only sort of world class or approaching world class player.
I think that's a fair comment.
They've got approaching rather.
They've got
than
other good players.
Oh yeah, Ben Rama's a good player. I think he's injured, but they've got
like Bowen and
yeah, Cresswell's a good player.
Antonio's done well for him leading the line, but are they world class?
No.
Probably not.
And none of them are worth half of what Declan Rice is worth.
I think it's pretty much nailed on. Declan Rice is going to go somewhere in the summer. The question is, will he come to Manchester United? I know we've asked this question before, but for the purposes of the preview, would you have Declan Rice at United?
Absolutely, I think he's brilliant.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I had to disagree. I think he's a phenomenon. If we signed Declan Rice, I'd be pretty happy with that.
Are you, and this is going to sound odd, but for me, there's part of me, I don't want them to finish with United, obviously.
Yeah.
But I would rather, let's say, for the sake of argument, United can't finish top four.
Okay.
I'd rather West Ham and Moyes specifically.
Yeah.
I'd rather Moyes did than Tottenham or Arsenal.
Why? Why Moyes?
Because I know he'd failed at United, but he's a former Manchester United manager who I still hold some care for. I don't think he was right for the job. I think he was right to go. It was too big for him. He wasn't good at all this, but I regard him more highly and I like him more than I care for Arteta or Conte or these other managers. I do have a bit of a soft spot for David Moyes, yeah? Don't you?
No.
Nothing. How come?
I just feel like, yes, I understand it wasn't his fault that he got promoted above his station, but he made my club into a laughingstock. His comments were idiotic. We're going to try and make life as difficult as possible for Newcastle United. We aspire to be like Manchester City. Liverpool at levels. Liverpool are favourites going into this game. Shinji Kagawa can't play because he's eating too much. Danny Welbeck scored a goal because he's been watching Wayne Rooney practicing. We need to improve on things like passing, shooting, tackling, and creating chances. I'm sorry. It was just a catalogue of chaos.
Yes, but his eyebrows ain't made of hairs. They're made out of wrinkles. So he's actually quite impressive as a man.
I don't really feel a lot for David Moyes. He inherited the Premier League champions and we've never recovered from his tenure, basically.
I'll be honest, Jay. I don't disagree with any of that. But still prefer him to Arteta. Still prefer him to Conte. I think he tried his best. I think he wasn't good enough. Wasn't equipped, like you said. His mentality was that of the manager of a small club. Yeah. He didn't have that big club mentality, and he never got it. But I do prefer him still to the alternatives. I mean, obviously, I want United to finish third.
Yeah,
I would rather, for instance, it go City, who I think are going to win the league, Liverpool, who ain't dropping out the top four, United, West Ham, than any other variation of a team below us other than them. Wouldn't you? I'd rather Chelsea finished outside and Arsenal and Tottenham.
I would for
I don't like West Ham as a
few
club,
reasons.
But Moyes, I don't mind. Go on.
I mean, Arsenal I can't stand anyway. You know my thoughts on Arsenal, so I wouldn't want to see them in the top four. You never hear the end of it. I think as well, if Chelsea finished outside the top four,
fantastic.
Does that also put Tuchel in the shop window? And would you have him as Ralph Rangnick's successor? Could that work? Maybe. Yeah. That's not a bad option. Also, if Conte finished outside the top four, it ends the whole conversation of, United should have got Conte. Should we? Where if you finish his top four and we don't, everyone's going to be like, and it's just another stick to beat us with. And I get fed up of some of the flagellation that goes on.
See, finally, you've come around to my way of thinking, Jay.
Yeah, but I'd have it in just because of you know,
The alternatives.
not my fondness for David Moyes.
I'll be honest, it's not a great fondness.
No.
It's just a slight fondness where I have no fondness for anyone else.
That's fair enough.
You know what I mean?
Looking at the last 5 meetings there, I mean, it's, you know, makes for very good reading, doesn't it? Apart from the League Cup game, which we obviously don't care about because we're not about winning trophies anymore. We're done with all that.
We have had some pretty embarrassing defeats to West Ham in the not too distant past, though. Remember that we were 3-0 down after like 20 minutes away.
The
a few
Jose
years ago.
Mourinho.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Victor Lindelof out of defence and leave Scott McTominay in there.
That's
that
the one.
Yeah.
I know that was a while ago now, obviously, not in the last 5, but the memories of losing to West Ham are still fresh in the memory, aren't they? Let's be honest.
You could go back even further. I think, was it 91, 92 season? Didn't we lose to West Ham when it cost us the title? One of the games that cost us the title.
Slightly further back than the Jose era, but yeah, before I was born. And a lot of the players remember that
What,
game.
you mean you weren't there? I tell you what, I saw an absolute stinker once at Upton Park. We got beat 4-0 in the League Cup.
In the late 70s.
Yes.
When were you born? 1980? 1970? Which one was it?
1980. I'm a child of the 80s, just. Right. With all things considered then, with that game in 1992 burning in your memory, what do you think the score's going to be?
I think United will carry on this winning form. I think West Ham are good. I think it'll bring more out of us rather than less. I think United will win 2-1.
2-1.
Yeah.
Ooh.
What do you think?
I'm going to go with a 1-0.
Get in!
Yes.
Clean sheet, man!
I feel like it's going to be a Scott McTominay. I think we're going to score from a corner.
Hey!
Scott McTominay from a corner. Yeah. That's our 1-0 McTominay corner. Header.
Scott
McTominay. Right. Get involved in the comments in the chat. Let us know whether you agree with anything me and Joe said. Let us know your score prediction. Let us know your predicted 11. Let us know what you think about the Ronaldo situation. Just let us know anything you want to. Joe, where can people find you?
Joe Smith 93, Instagram and Twitter.
Are you going to be doing the watch along?
I'll be on the watch along, yeah. Absolutely. We've got Joe McGrath and a third guest yet to be announced.
A mystery guest.
Yeah.
Nothing better.
I think it could be one of the guys from JLS.
I think it could be Declan Rice.
Imagine.
He's
not on the pitch.
Yeah, I'm not playing today. I'm on the watch along with Joe and Joe. Make sure if you're not doing, you are subscribing to the channel. Let's get to 700,000 subscribers by the end of the season. With your help and support, we can do it. That's been Joe. I've been Jay. This has been the West Ham Preview. Thanks for watching.